What does it take to become a legend? Is it skill? Discipline? Or is it something darker, something hidden in the shadows of history? Today, we unravel the life of Miyamoto Musashi, a man whose name echoes through the centuries as the greatest swordsman Japan has ever known. But behind the legend lies a story so mysterious, so filled with contradictions and chilling curiosities, that it will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the samurai code, the pursuit of mastery, and the price of greatness. Musashi was not just a warrior, he was a philosopher, an artist, and a wanderer. He was a man who lived by the sword, yet sought to transcend it. But who was he, really? What drove him to become the undefeated duelist who faced over 60 opponents and never lost a single battle? And what secrets lie buried in the tales of his life, secrets that hint at a darker, more enigmatic figure than the one history often portrays? This is not just the story of a samurai. This is the story of a man who walked the line between genius and madness, between light and shadow. A man whose life was as much a mystery as it was a masterpiece. So, let us step into the world of Miyamoto Musashi, and uncover the truths that history has tried to forget. The birth of a warrior, a life shaped by blood and strife. Miyamoto Musashi was born in 1584, in the village of Miyamoto, in the Harima province of Japan. But his birth was anything but ordinary. His father, Musashi, was a renowned martial artist and swordsman, but he was also a man of violent temperament. Some accounts suggest that Musashi was not just a teacher of the sword but also a practitioner of dark rituals, rumored to have dabbled in the occult. Could this have influenced the young Musashi? Was his path to greatness paved not just by discipline, but by something more sinister? Musashi's early years were marked by chaos. By the age of 7, he was orphaned, left to fend for himself in a world that was brutal and unforgiving. But even as a child, Musashi displayed an unnerving intensity. He was not just skilled with the sword, he was obsessed with it. By the time he was 13, he had already fought his first duel, and won. His opponent was a seasoned samurai named Eerie, a man who underestimated the boy's ferocity. Musashi killed him with a single blow, using nothing but a wooden staff. It was a chilling foreshadowing of the life he would lead, a life defined by violence, strategy, and an unrelenting will to survive. The undefeated duelist, a path paved with shadows. Musashi's reputation as a duelist grew rapidly, but his methods were anything but conventional. He was known for arriving late to his duels, often hours or even days after the agreed-upon time. Some say this was a psychological tactic, designed to unnerve his opponents. Others believe it was a reflection of his disdain for tradition, a way of asserting his independence from the rigid codes of samurai honor. But there's another, more unsettling theory, that Musashi used this time to study his opponents, to understand their weaknesses, and to prepare himself mentally and spiritually for the fight. Was he simply a master strategist, or was there something more mystical at play? One of the most infamous duels of Musashi's life was against Sasaki Kojiro, a swordsman whose skill was said to rival his own. Kojiro wielded an adachi, an exceptionally long sword, and his technique, known as the swallow cut, was legendary. The duel took place on the remote island of Funijima, and the details of what happened there have become the stuff of legend. Some say Musashi carved a wooden sword from an oar on his way to the island, using it to defeat Kojiro in a single, devastating strike. Others claim that Musashi's victory was not just a matter of skill, but of cunning, that he used the environment, the timing, and even the psychological state of his opponent to secure his victory. But there's a darker twist to this story. After the duel, Musashi is said to have fled the island, not out of fear, but because he believed the spirit of Kojiro haunted him. Was this the guilt of a man who had taken too many lives, or was it something more supernatural? The philosopher and the artist, the duality of Musashi. Musashi was not just a warrior, he was also a philosopher and an artist. In his later years, he wrote the Book of Five Rings, a treatise on strategy, tactics, and philosophy that remains influential to this day. But what many don't know is that Musashi's philosophy was deeply rooted in his experiences as a duelist. He believed that true mastery was not just about physical skill, but about understanding the mind, both your own and your opponent's. He wrote, "Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye." Was this a reference to strategy, or was it a nod to the spiritual and mystical elements that seemed to follow him throughout his life? Musashi was also a talented artist, creating works of calligraphy, painting, and sculpture that reflected his unique perspective on life. His art was often stark and minimalist, yet filled with a sense of movement and energy. Some say his art was a reflection of his soul, a soul that was as complex and contradictory as the man himself. But there's a curious detail about Musashi's art. Many of his works were created in the final years of his life, when he had retired from dueling and was living as a hermit. Was this a form of redemption, a way of seeking peace after a lifetime of violence? Or was it a final attempt to understand the mysteries of existence, to capture the essence of life itself? The mysterious end, a legacy shrouded in shadows. Musashi's death is as enigmatic as his life. He died in 1645, at the age of 60, in a cave where he had chosen to live out his final days. But the circumstances of his death are shrouded in mystery. Some say he died of illness, while others believe he succumbed to the weight of his own legend. There's even a theory that Musashi's death was not a natural one, that he was poisoned by those who feared his influence or sought to claim his legacy. But perhaps the most intriguing detail is this: before his death, Musashi is said to have written a final poem, a cryptic message that hinted at the deeper truths he had discovered in his life. The poem reads, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Yet in the end, I am but a shadow. A fleeting whisper in the wind." What did Musashi mean by these words? Was he reflecting on the impermanence of life, or was he acknowledging the darker forces that had shaped his destiny? We may never know for sure, but one thing is certain: Miyamoto Musashi was a man who lived and died by his own rules, a man who walked the line between light and shadow, between greatness and madness. The legacy of Miyamoto Musashi, lessons for the modern world. Today, Miyamoto Musashi is remembered as a symbol of mastery, discipline, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. But his life also serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that greatness often comes at a price. Musashi's journey was one of constant struggle, not just against his opponents, but against himself. He was a man who sought to understand the mysteries of existence, to transcend the limitations of the human condition. And in doing so, he left behind a legacy that continues to inspire and intrigue us to this day. So, what can we learn from the life of Miyamoto Musashi? Perhaps it is this: that true mastery is not just about skill, but about understanding the deeper truths of life. That the path to greatness is often fraught with challenges, but it is through these challenges that we discover who we truly are. And that, in the end, the greatest battle we will ever face is the one within ourselves. Miyamoto Musashi was more than a swordsman; he was a philosopher, an artist, and a seeker of truth. His life was a testament to the power of the human spirit, to the relentless pursuit of mastery, and to the mysteries that lie at the heart of existence. And though he may have been a shadow, a fleeting whisper in the wind, his legacy endures, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always a path to greatness. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Until next time.